Let me see if I can get out of here. I don't have a backup camera either, which really sucks. And I don't have power steering. Yeah, I think I did it. I'm not where I should be. Like, I don't feel like I'm where I should be right now. You know, I feel like I'm meant to do more with music, and I'm meant to be making a difference with music. And cleaning cars is a great way to pay the bills and doing all that stuff, but
in a quarter mile, turn right onto First Avenue Northeast.
It's a waste of the things that I'm passionate about. Once I was diagnosed with my autism, it made a lot more sense as to why those things were so much harder for me. But it still doesn't make it easier. Knowing that I have autism doesn't make it easier for me to do the things all of a sudden, just because I know what makes it hard for me. Yeah, that one's Saturday, August 24th at 10 a.m. So downbeat on the crashes.
So boom, boom, blah, 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 blah.
So let's start from the top of that song. We'll go out and see if those accents are in the right spots. They didn't have a name for it when I was a kid, so I kept getting diagnosed with all sorts of different things simultaneously. ADHD, bipolar disorder. I mean, you name it, I was diagnosed with it and put on some sort of pill for it, and it didn't work. Most of the people that I made friends with were also people that had a hard time socially and making friends. We weren't like the ones that were out there playing football and being, cheerleaders and all that stuff.
It's been a long time since I saw you. Never thought I'd feel this for you. Maybe life has just stood still here after all. A beautiful smile I stopped to see. Spirits so low and hearts so free. You were the one that got away from me. 'Cause you were over my head, over my head, over my head. It's raining like the sun won't shine no more. Like the sun won't shine no more.
If I didn't have music, I would have had a really hard time finding anywhere to fit in. Music was that bridge. If people didn't want to talk and have a conversation about the things that I wanted to talk about, they could just start playing music, and then I would understand and we would start playing music together,
I'm calling on behalf of RStage.com to let you know that you and your band will be booked on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Oh, wow.
He gets a lot of big stars on there. He's pretty good.
So how does it feel to know that my band is going to be on the Jimmy Kimmel show?
I'm just thrilled. And if it's going to be on at 11:40, I'll watch it. What night is it going to be on? And I'll just love it because I like Jimmy Kimmel.
I was getting opportunities, but I think that because I wasn't necessarily picking up on the things that were expected of me, because they were expecting neurotypical things. And so when I did things that were coping mechanisms for me, I remember I was working with, I won't name names, but I was working with a songwriter, and I got set up on this session, and I wound up, in between songwriting takes, I would have to kind of decompress my brain and do things to snap myself into a different place so that I could continue to create, because I started feeling overwhelmed. And these are just things that I started doing since I was a kid. So I had a Nintendo, little Nintendo DS, and I was playing my video games and just trying to get my brain to snap out of that mode that it was in, of writer's block. And I ended up getting a phone call the next day from the A&R at the label that I was signing to, saying that he complained about me and said that I was unprofessional. So when it comes to that process, most people, they're looking at it from a neurotypical perspective of this is acceptable, this is unacceptable. They're not looking at why somebody does the things that they do that they're considering unprofessional. I think that being on the spectrum, I used to just trust too much. And so then I would wind up, just always thinking that people were genuine because I was genuine. And so it was like I didn't quite pick up on when people were using me for things, I ended up going through a lot of things in life, and I had a very intense spiritual experience that I couldn't really deny it at that point. It was something that really touched me spiritually, where I met a man at a coffee shop, and we had some really good conversation about religion and spirituality. We were in this group, a group of a few people that were there, and he asked us if we would pray with him, and I was always taught to be just really nice to people. If they want, to teach you about their religion, then let them teach you about their religion, and don't make them feel bad about it. And so I humored him, and I linked hands with him to pray, and I had this experience. The only way I could explain it is like light going through my body. Having that experience made me realize that there was something else. I still wasn't ready to subscribe to any kind of real organized religion because I really, I had been very set aside by a lot of people who did not like me for who I was and kept trying to change me. And when I did have that spiritual experience, it did send me into a place where I started trying to change myself for some things. And then I realized that wasn't the religion, that wasn't the God that was trying to speak to me.
If you look at a stained glass window and the sun shines through, all of the different colors are shining, and the multitude of them together is what the beauty is. So each of you can be free to shine your own individual light without the disruption of anybody else and have it be special for this entire community. All of these different things that we have are ways that we can learn and grow from each other if we want to create a world that works for everyone.
Let's go get some coffee. Church coffee is the best. I like going to a place that you can be surrounded by like minds, but also having a space where I could figure out what I believed instead of having somebody shove an idea down my throat and say, no, you have to live like this. You have to be this way. You can't be gay. You can't, whatever it is that you can't do when you're in certain religions. Everything started broadening out and finding myself just feeling better about myself and feeling more connected to the world around me. So a lot of my songs started reflecting that.
Make me feel like home. You make me feel like home.
Up until you make me feel like. And then all the ooh parts. Garbagey sort of rock drum beat, Okay. We got a set list now. We're doing 13 songs. We're cutting out Breakaway and Run. That's Sandra's mask. So I'm going to be a bird. Don't do it. You don't want me to do my real bird calls. What time is it? We got to keep up on 7:54. My brain is like. What was it? In
they honk at each other.
Control mode right now.
If there was a giant beanbag, I'd take a power nap.
Oh yeah, no, Adeline, I know where I come in. Yeah.
Like, okay.
The thing that I prefer people do when they come to play in this band is before you even start trying to learn what notes are being played,
just listen a lot.
Take your brain out of it and like just close your eyes, put some headphones on, and just listen to it over and over again for like the first few days or whatever,
Yeah.
And let it seep into you. Like on this song, it's that point in the middle where you're about ready to make a choice about whether or not you stay in a relationship or you get out of it.
pleasure. Nice to share the stage.
Shit, Cartoon.
Oh, it felt so good.